Okay, foundation paper 2 from November 2011, and if we can get the first 14 questions right out of 19, then our grade C should be safe. Question 1. Janet buys some items for her office, complete her bill. So the first one is done for you, £85.60. 6 box files costing £2.80 each. $16 and 0.8 you have to put in the end 0. 4 packets of paper costing £6.57. And for the coloured pens, make sure that you write that in well, it was 86 pence, you put it in pounds, 0.86, £10.32. You then add those up, and remember to include the £85.60. That comes to £139 exactly. Okay, then we need to find out how much the discount is. 5%. 5%, turn it into a decimal by writing it in the same way you'd write 5 pence written in pounds, which would be 0.05. Times 139, which is £6.95. Check to make sure that answers the question. The question's asking how much is the discount. That's how much the discount is. Sometimes a question would ask how much is the bill going to be now, in which case you would subtract those two figures. 1B, a group of 5 pupils go to see a play. The tickets cost £6.75 each. How much change should they receive from a £50 note? So in total you've got £6.75 times 5. So that's £33.75. That's how much the tickets cost in total. So the change will be 50 less £33.75, which is £16.25. Part C. What percentage of this pattern is shaded? So this question sometimes asks for fractions, sometimes decimals, sometimes percentage. In this case it's percent. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shapes inside the pattern. So each one of those shapes is 10%, and shaded we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, which is going to be 40%. So the pattern that isn't shaded, they must add up to 100, so that would be 60%. Okay, question 2. A box is placed on a scale, and then sand is poured into the box. Find out how much the sand weighs. Well, this scale is telling us how much the box weighs empty, and just as with graphs, what we need to do is work out how much each little square is worth here. So we're going from 0 to 100 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jumps. 100 divided by 5 is 20. So each little unit is 20 grams. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. So our scale reading is here, so that's going to be 200, 220, 240, 260, 280 grams empty. So 280 grams empty box. When the sand is in it, it's going to be 920 grams. So 920 grams with sand. So in order to work out how much the sand weighs, we do 920 take away 280. Which is 640 grams. Question 3. The above shape is drawn on a square grid. Okay, well, we've been doing loads and loads of those. By counting squares, estimate the area of the shape if each square represents an area of 5 centimeters squared. So one of these squares is scaled so that it represents 5 square centimeters. So we have to bear that in mind when we're working out a final answer. Counting squares, what we do is anything that's larger than 1 centimeter we include. Sorry, larger than half covered we include. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59 squares would be my estimate, times 5 centimeters squared each will give a total area of 295 centimeters squared. And they would allow the number of squares to count between anything to 53 and 61 would be what they'd accept, the examiners, that is. Question 4. So here's testing your knowledge or your memorizing of key geometric terms. The distance going across the center of a circle from one side of the circumference through the center to the other is known as the diameter. A line which just touches the outside, the circumference of a circle, is known as a tangent. This is a polygon with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-sided five-sided polygon, which is known as a pentagon. This is known as a cylinder, and this is a triangular prism. A prism, just to mention, is a shape that when you cut it, if you cut it along that edge, no matter how many times you cut it, the cut face would be identical every time. That makes it a prism. That's a triangular prism because the cut face is a triangle. Part C, measure in centimeters the length of the line PQ. So this, you need to be accurate with your measuring. Okay, it's not to the nearest centimeter. So when I measure it here, you can see that it's going to be 11.1, 11.2 centimeters. And draw a perpendicular line so that PQ, so it passes through R. Parallel lines go like that. That would be parallel. Perpendicular lines go like that. So that would be parallel. That would be perpendicular. So our perpendicular line is going to be at right angles to that. So what you want to do is get your ruler. If you line that line up with one of the longer marks on your ruler, that will produce a right angle, and then slide it until it passes through R. And just to hammer the point home that you know what perpendicular means, if you put a little right angled box on it like that, then there can be no mistake that that is what they expect you to have. So that gets us into the G grades. Question 5, a formula question. Part A always is just plugging the numbers in. So a list of numbers is made by using the formula value of the number is 5 times the position of the number, add 6. Find the value of the number when the position of the number is 9. So it's going to be 5 times 9, add 6. 5 times 9 is 45, add 6. You always do the multiplication first. 45 add 6 is 51. Find the position of the number when the value of the number is 121. So the second part, you're going to have to form an equation and then solve it. So we know this time that the value is 121. 5 times the position, well that's what we're trying to find, I'll call it P for position, add 6. So there's our equation. We want to get the P on its own. The first thing we have to deal with is the add 6. The opposite of adding 6 is subtracting 6, taking 6 away. 121 take away 6 is 115. So we know that 5 lots of P is 115. We want to get the P on its own, so now we've got to undo the times 5. Opposite of timesing by 5 is dividing by 5. In algebra we write divide like that, that's what it means. So P is going to be 115 divided by 5, which is 23. Question 6. The picture shows a bendy bus with a man standing beside it, showing all your working. Estimate the actual length of the bendy bus. So the first thing we have to do is tell or to write down what we think the actual height of the man is, because that is something that we should know. So we're going to say man is 2 meters. You can use 6 feet, but life is much easier if you work in meters. So the man is 2 meters tall. What you then need to do is to see how many of his height will fit into the bus. So if I just draw a little line down there and a line down there, and then if you get a bit of tracing paper or something, or use your ruler and just mark on here how big that man is, and what you want to see is how many of them will fit across here. So there's one man, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If he was lying down, there would be 9 of him end to end, and each of him is 2 meters tall. So the bus is 9 lots of 2 meters, which is 18 meters. And so on. So you're showing how you did it. There's 2 men lying down, you could put the rest there. The key thing for the 4 marks is, first of all, you're writing down how tall you think the man is. You're using the units meters. Then you're working out how many times he's going to fit into the length of the bus, which is 9. Then you're going to do 9 lots of 2 and to get your answer of 18, and your units are consistent throughout. You're using meters. That gets us into the F grades. Question 7. On the squared paper below, plot and label the points A minus 3, 5. So the first number in a coordinate is your x coordinate. So minus 3 is negative, so it's in that direction, and then 5, second number, is your y coordinate, takes you up to 5. And as I've said in a number of these, mark a cross where that coordinate is and write A next to it, rather than writing A over the point. B is 5 minus 2, so we're going across 5, and now we're going minus 2, so we're going down 2 to there. So that's the coordinate of B. And C is minus 4, minus 5. C is there. Question 8. Bryn hires a floor sander. It costs £37 for the first day and £18.50 for each additional day. Bryn's total cost for hiring the sander was £129.50. For how many days did he hire the sander? Okay, so in total it came to £129.50, and we know that the first day is fixed at £37. So if I take £37 off that, that'll give me how much it is for each additional day. Okay, so cost of additional days is going to be £129.50 less the £37 for the first day. Which is £92.50. So now we know that each of the extra days is £18.50, and that in total those extra days come to £92.50. So in order to find out the number of extra days, will be the total amount they cost divided by how much they cost a day. So we got £92.50 divided by £18.50 equals 5 days. So the number of days that the sander was hired for was 5 extra days plus the first day, 6 days. Question 9. Jeff is T centimeters tall. Jill is 6 centimeters taller than Jeff. Write down in terms of T, Jill's height. Okay, so if Jeff was 10 centimeters tall and Jill is 6 centimeters taller, how tall would she be? 10 add 6, 16. If Jeff was 100 centimeters tall, Jill would be 106 centimeters tall. So what we're doing is we're adding 6 to whatever T is, or whatever Jeff is. So if Jeff is T, Jill is going to be T add 6. Concrete blocks each weigh W kilograms. Write down in terms of W the weight of 10 blocks. Well, if one block weighs W, let's say W is 10. Sorry, let's say it's 5. If one block was 5, 2 blocks would be 10, 3 blocks would be 15, and so on. What you're doing is multiplying W by the number of blocks. So 10 blocks would weigh W times 10, or 10 lots of W. And in algebra we don't tend to write the times because it looks like an X, so we'd write it as 10W. Mary is X years old. Write down in terms of X, her age 5 years ago. Well, if you're 15, 5 years ago you were 10. What did you do? You took 5 off what she is now. So if she's X now, 5 years ago she was X minus 5. B. Use the formula V equals U add 10T to find the value of V when U is 20 and T is 9. So with this, it's a formula. We just substitute those values into the formula, but bearing in mind, as I mentioned up there, the 10 and the T have got a multiply between them. So V will be U, which is 20, plus 10 times 9. And we work out the multiplication first. 10 9s are 90, 20 add 90 is 110. Question 10. This will get us into the E grade. Howell and Janet go on holiday to the USA. They change £1,300 into dollars when the exchange rate was £1 is $1.55. So if we're going from pounds into dollars, what we're going to be doing is multiplying in a number machine like that. So pounds in multiplied by $1.55 gives us dollars out. So what we're going to do is 1,300 in times 155 . So she will get $2,015. So when we're going from pounds to dollars, we multiply. In part B, on their return, they have $363 left over. They change this back into pounds when the rate of exchange is £1 is $1.65. So when you're going backwards, you're not going to multiply, you're going to divide, but the rate has changed. So rather than divide by 155, they're going to divide by 165. So we're going to get $363 divided by 165, which is the exchange rate, giving £220 in exchange.